discuss on our website, wistv.com. You can head to the awareness section and I'll make sure to have this posted. But in the meantime, we're going to talk more about businesses coming up after the break. Did you know that this month is Black Business Month? I'm going to introduce you to a unique Black-owned business right here in the Midlands that's not playing around. You'll catch the hint later. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Awareness. August is Black Business Month, and I'm so excited to introduce you to this unique Black-owned business, a gaming company. Yes, IAS Games was created by Tanisha Hall back in 2017. She built this company based on her love of board games and love of the Black culture, and she mixed it all into one. Please welcome to the show, Tanisha Hall. Thank you so much for being here, Tanisha.
Thank you so much.
You also go by Queen It Shall Be.
Yes.
You're a very positive light,
Yes.
and I really appreciate that by you. About you, you're just a ray of sunshine.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here today. What was missing? This is pretty unique, first of all. This is something you created. Before we get into the type of game and how you play it, I want to know your story and your background. How did you even get to this point? I've never met anyone who has created board games, so this is pretty cool.
Well, before I did it, I didn't meet anybody either. But I am originally from Brooklyn, New York, and growing up in the 80s in Brooklyn, I loved board games. My family would play Monopoly and chess all the time. I wasn't good at chess, but I loved playing board games, and I would make my own out of like loose leaf paper and make my own pieces and draw my own boards and stuff like that. And when I got older, I never really let it go. Our family has a ton of board games in the house, but I noticed after a while that I was imagining what characters on board games would look like if they looked like me. And that was what led me, after unfortunately losing my job at the time, that's what led me to want to start my own business and create games. I wanted to give that light to other people, and games are fun. Board games are a good time.
And yours is unique though, because they're especially and specifically made to honor the Black culture, and you said something that was so important. You didn't see characters that look like you in these games. So when it comes to your inspiration behind creating them, what type of games do you create?
I create games that'll get anybody at the table talking across each other or laughing, anything that it just brings out and supports laughter among Black people. I want to put on a board game so we can roll the dice and move around, get into character, and just have a good time. I'm really big on positivity and actively being positive. So,
that's the key.
yes.
Not just talking about it, but actually doing it. And you have different themes for your board games as well, right?
Yeah.
So tell me about a few, then we'll jump into the one we're looking at.
Okay, well, I have board games that are inspired by Black sitcoms, specifically because I love to laugh. I love comedies.
Do you have a Martin one?
Not yet.
Okay, you gotta get one, Tanisha, because you and we gotta meet up and play that one.
I know, and that's such an iconic show, but that's what I do. I go for iconic shows, iconic movies, and original content, things that are iconic to us, like cookouts and cookout games. I also have cards, because I do tabletop games that are dedicated to teaching people how to play spades. So
it teaches you how to play.
Yeah, we're releasing that very
We're gonna
soon.
have, listen, I'm gonna be your first customer. I'm tired of sitting in the corner looking, trying to figure out what's going on.
And I know, and then when you wanna learn, someone doesn't really wanna teach you, so I wanted to have a fun and inviting way for people, because I don't want people scared of spades. Like,
yeah, that's me. I'm that person. I still don't know. I still don't know, but that's pretty neat. I love that. So what we're looking at right now, this is amazing too, because this is a classic in all households. A different world.
Yeah.
This is pretty cool. Tell me about this board game, because the specifics of it, I can already see that you put a lot of time into it.
I did. So I always wanted to go to a HBCU, didn't get to, so I went vicariously through a different world. And when I was developing my first game, I wanted to give honor to someplace that I really wanted to go, and I watched it like 1,000 times. You know, baby, please. You know.
Yeah.
So I wanted to make a game where we could play as the characters from the show. So the object is to make it from the season premiere to the season finale out of debt. basically.
Yeah.
And it goes through different spaces of collecting a salary, paying rent. You get to look at some event cards that talk about some of the things that happened in the show and answer trivia questions as well. And
And the questions are related to the
show,
shows,
yes.
right?
But
So
even if you've never seen the show, you can play the game. I've tested it and proven it. People that have never heard of a Ron Johnson or Walter Oakes have played and won.
Yeah.
And it inspires them to want to go watch the show and learn about a different world and the iconic ness of Whitley Gilbert.
Yes.
And Jaleesa was one of my favorites. But Whitley, in my head, me and her cousins.
yes.
But
And I'm looking at these cards. This is really specific. You said, what did all of the sorority pledges have to call Whitley? Big Sister Almighty, Big Sister Gorgeous One, Big Sister Supreme. So they're very specific to the show. Who tries to make Dwayne jealous by going on a date with Ron? Whitley, Freddie, or Keanu, or Ron's father was what kind of salesman? Automobile, insurance, or electronics? And then you have the dollar amount on it. So this is really specific to the show, but as you mentioned, you can take an educated guess, I guess, if you haven't watched it.
Choice.
But I love that you came up with this. I mean, it seems, when you sit down and you create your games, Tanisha, you don't want to give away your secret formula, of course, but how do you even organize yourself to invent this? This is very specific and well thought out. How long did it take you to create this?
It took me about a year and a half, almost 2 years, to fully develop it and get my first prototype together. Actually, my second prototype. My first prototype was foam board that was from my kids' previous projects in Sharpie and construction paper. And then after that, and going online and researching and finding other Black game creators and asking them questions. Thankfully, the community of Black game creators is very, very nice and very giving and supportive. So I got a lot of good information and tips and direction and mentorship to go ahead and go forward and just organize note-taking. Lots and lots of note-taking and drafting.
All righty.
Yeah.
Well, on that note, we're going to pause right there. We're going to take a quick break, and we're going to be back with more on her board games and just this lovely light of Tanisha. She's going to give us more on how she is not playing by playing with the board games, okay? We're going to be right back. You're sticking with us here on Awareness. If you're just joining us, we are continuing our conversation with Tanisha Hall, the owner of the Black-owned gaming company IAS. Tanisha created this company 5 years ago after noticing a lack of representation of Black characters when it came to board games, and her company has been growing nonstop. Tanisha, again, it's been a pleasure talking to you. Oh yeah, this has been so fun. For people who are just joining the show, you created a different world-themed board game. You said it took you just under 2 years to create this, a lot of note-taking, a lot of planning and mentorship, and you're really bringing back the old school board games. Another thing that I like about this is family friendly as well.
Yes,
you can do this with your children and with your friends,
Mm-hmm.
you know, so I really like that. We were going back onto the lack of representation, right? Mm-hmm. You are dedicating your business to Black culture. What has been the response from people who are purchasing your games? Because I'm just like, oh my gosh, I'm still blown away talking to you about it. So what has been the response you've been getting?
The response has been amazing. There have been a lot of people that were very shocked that something like this could be done and done by us. I've taken the game out to several venues, and different ages will either be shocked or they'll want to know how to make their own, which I also help people do. But it's been overall very supportive, like almost unreal how supportive it is, because you think you'll get lost in the sea of other Black businesses or just other businesses, period, but the love has been amazing.
That's good. And the benefits of board games, I don't really see people whip them out anymore because video games are so popular now. So tell us about the benefits of board games.
The benefits of board games are communication. It definitely enhances communication skills because you can't hide behind a screen.
Yeah.
It encourages teamwork, whether you're going against another player along with someone or just everyone working as one organism to play a game. But just the connection, being in the same space, rolling the dice, moving the pieces, not just your thumb, you know, actually having to reach over and grab a card and that celebration that comes if someone gets it right or gets it wrong. That is what I think board games bring to the table. More than anything, is that fellowship, that community, that love that comes across being at the table and just seeing your people and your friends and family enjoying something together.
Yeah, and I will also add critical thinking, because if you have to, for this game, you said you have to start from season 1 all the way to the finale debt-free. If you're not familiar with The Different World, is a show based on a HBCU that was a spinoff from The Cosby Show when Denise went to college. And that's Denise right there in the middle, okay? And so you have to know how to manage your money while playing this game. So it really teaches great life lessons. You mentioned that you take your games out to different community events as well. When you and I were talking earlier, you've been to a couple of schools.
Yes.
Yeah, tell us about that.
Well, thanks to my children. They invited me out to their schools when I first launched the game. And the response there was immense. I didn't think the kids were going to like it because, you know, it's not a video game. But when they saw it, particularly in my daughter's elementary school, I noticed immediately how gravitated the kids were to the game because they saw characters that looked like them. There were other children that were like, "Oh, you look like Walter, you should pick him. Oh, you look like Freddie, you should pick her." And then, since I was educating them on the board game and the culture of A Different World, I asked them if they knew what an HBCU was. They did not, so I got to be the one to tell them. So that was also another very fulfilling moment, but a way that I saw that I can definitely help the next generation of youth be proud of who they are.
Tanisha, I have to stop you right there, because you told me when you created this game, it was for the purpose, again, of the lack of representation. So when you go to those schools and you're seeing your goal actually play out before your eyes, what does that do to you?
I almost cried.
Oh my God.
I didn't, because I didn't want to make the children nervous, but I definitely almost cried. I cried in the car.
Yeah,
I did.
You held it together then.
I did, but it was a purpose fulfilled and a definite indicator to continue. Absolutely.
And you said that you received mentorship and help to create this platform, and now you're reaching back and doing the same thing. How does that look when it comes to helping another gamer break into this business?
Well, since a lot of people that I've been in contact with have not known much about Black board game or tabletop creators, I am able now, in a position of owning my own company, to offer services to help other game creators not only make a game, but make a game and be able to sell it, produce it, and extend their legacy or start their legacy on doing something fun and purposeful. That they can really identify with, that they know was made for them when they touch it.
Tanisha, what's next for you?
Oh my gosh, more games.
More games. I'm looking forward to it. You already spilled the beans about the how to play spades game that you're creating. I told you, let me know. I'll be the first person to buy it from you. But just more board games in the future with representation of Black culture? More
board games, more apparel. I actually took the inspiration from the fraternity and sorority in A Different World, Alpha Delta Rho and Kappa Lambda Nu, and I launched an apparel line. So now you can have novelty t-shirts. I've got dance-inspired wear also, because I do dance and I like to incorporate that with games also. So yeah, apparel, novelties, accessories, and games, all for us.
You're just going to continue blowing up. Glad that we caught you early, Tanisha. Glad that we caught you. How can people stay in contact with you to purchase your games or to receive the services for mentorship?
They can visit my website at iasgames.com, and all the information for contact and for the game, I'm sorry, I call it the GPS, the game positioning services are on the website as well.
All right.
And I'm on Instagram, I'm sorry.
What's your Instagram?
Instagram is HILLMAN the Game and IAS Games.
All right, perfect. Thank you so much, Tanisha. You're such a lovely light. I'm a hugger. I have to give you a hug. I really enjoyed talking to you. This is such a creative thing that you have created, and I love it. So thank you so much for being here. And we're going to take a quick break. We'll have much more awareness coming up. Thank you so much for joining us this week for Awareness. I really hope that you enjoyed the show. You can find all of the interviews at WISTV.com. Just click on the Awareness segment and you can run all the details back again. See you next Sunday. Until then, have a great week.